Right, okay, so I am going to talk about how to find the gradient between 2 points when working it out um, algebraically, so to speak, with numbers, so to speak. So by now, you should all be able, given a straight line, to find the gradient. Actually, you should be able to find the whole equation by now. But just a quick recap, to find the gradient of a line, you pick two easily identifiable points on the line, you drew a triangle, and remember the gradient was delta y over delta x. So that meant the change in y, so how big is that jump there, divided by how big is that jump there. And with a picture and the coordinate grid, that was easy to calculate. Say that point there was 1, 3, and this one here was 2, 5. We can find that the change in y, the gradient, the change in y from 3 to 5 is 5 minus 3, which is 2, divided by the change in x. So the x, I'm going from 1 to 2, so it's 2 minus 1, is 2 over 1, which is 2, okay? That was just how we did finding the gradient of a line. But now, let's say that you have to find the gradient between 2 points. They don't give you the picture, and remember in your exam, you're going to have white paper, so you cannot draw it. So you have to be able to work it out without the picture. So let's say they give you 2 points. Point A is the point 2, 4, and point B is the point 6, 12. And they say, find the gradient between those 2 points. Well, in your head, think about it. The point 2, 4 could be somewhere there. And the point 6, 12, where is it relative to point A? Well, 6 is more than 2 on the x-axis, so it's going to be a bit to the right. And then, on the y-axis, 12 is higher than 4. So it's going to be to the right and up. So the point B is going to be there, which is 6, 12. And we're going to use the same definition. The gradient is the change in y divided by the change in x. The gradient between these 2 points, if that's the first point, let's call that x1, and that's y1. So the x and y coordinates of the first point. And this is x2, and this is y2. So the change in y is to go from 4 to 12. So it's 12 minus 4 divided by the change in x from 2 to 6. So 6 minus 2, which is 12 minus 4 is 8, 6 minus 2 is 4, which means that the gradient is 2 again. Okay? So this is how you find the gradient between 2 points. In general, the gradient between 2 points is y2 minus y1, so the change in y, divided by the change in x. And there you go. Now this can get a little bit tricky if you've got negative numbers. So let's do an example with that, and you're pretty much sorted. So point C, let's say is minus 1, 3, and point D, I don't know, this could be minus 5, minus 2. I just made those numbers up. The negative numbers can be a little bit scary, but it works in exactly the same way. We're going to use our formula here. So I recommend you write that down nice and neat, highlight it, learn it, because this is not given to you in the exam. And all we have to do is label, that's going to be, actually, it doesn't matter which point is the first one or the second one, so long as you're consistent with your labeling, okay? It doesn't actually matter whether this is point 1 and this is point 2 or the other way around. But just to keep some sort of order, because C comes before D, this is going to be point number 1, that's point number 2. So this is x1, this is y1, this value here is x2, and this is y2. So the gradient between these 2 points is y2 minus y1, so minus 2 take away 3 divided by minus 5 take away minus 1. Be really careful because you may have double negative signs, and we know what that means, okay? So the gradient, minus 2 minus 3 is minus 5, and minus 5 minus minus 1, well, that makes it plus 1, so minus 5 plus 1 is minus 4. And now we need to be, we cannot live, well, you could leave it like that, but that's not exactly accurate. A minus divided by a minus is a plus, and 5 divided by 4, just leave it as a fraction, it's 5 quarters. You could write 1.25, but it's okay. Sometimes you may get a fraction that is not an exact decimal, so you just better leaving it as a fraction. So the final answer is 5/4. And that is it. That is how you find the gradient between 2 points numerically without the diagram. Sometimes in the exam they may give you the diagram and ask you to find the gradient or the equation of the whole line. Sometimes they will just give you the points and ask you to find the gradient between the points, and you need to be able to do that. So this is it, how to find the gradient between 2 points numerically without the graph. A couple of examples, nice and neat. I hope you find this helpful. Take the examples down, nice and neat, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.